Welcome, folks, to the most interesting news in the world with your host, this guy, Connor Hill. What is the most interesting news in the world today? Well, it's been probably almost a freaking month since the last time I have done one of these. So there's a lot of interesting news going on in the world. I'm sure a lot of you think that, Hamas and Israel, Gaza, that whole thing going on is the most interesting news in the world. But I beg to differ. I beg to defer. I shall defer. Someone talks to me with that story, I defer to a different story. This new story is, well, it's not even a story. El Lugar is open. The place in Spanish. In Costa Rica, the resort El Lugar is open. And apparently someone told me that you can get a room for like 30% off right now until the end of the month or until some point in time. I'm not sure. I didn't actually look up the details myself. But if you want to check it out, you can go to l-lugar.com. Like a el-lugar.com. Wow. Boy, do we have a really great show for you today. And I have no idea what today's show is for you today because I don't actually I don't like predispose what I'm going to talk about on these things. I just kind of go with it. And it's interesting because there have been many moments that I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited to do the most interesting news in the world this week. But then I was on an airplane, or I was pretty much always on an airplane. So we did hold the very first 6-day event at El Lugar. This event was called The Beginning of a New Reality. Any of you feeling it? Because boy, do I have the beginning of a new reality. I wouldn't say I have a new reality just yet because it is definitely very beginning. I see the old one like popping up a bunch, and it's very interesting to have so much ease letting go of the other one. Like the other reality, the reality before that 6-day event, it was real. And now it's like really easy for me to be like, okay, what else is possible? So what else is big? What else is new? I'll talk about the future for a bit because this is what's kind of up in my world. Is this coming weekend, Dr. Dane here is doing another body whispering class. Love body whispering class. Oh my God, these body whispering classes, they're my favorite. I'm just going to go out and say it. They are my favorite because not just because, but they are like they change the foundation of reality every time I've been involved in one. And so that's very exciting stuff. And when this one came out, this one here in Paris, I was like, oh my God, I must have it. So anytime I have that energy, especially with any class, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I remember. I really got to be there because I love it. I love it. That's also interesting. And then the very next weekend after that, Dane has a Symphony of Possibilities training in Berlin. And then the very next weekend after that is a maestro. And this is the very first ever maestro where every single person has to be live. That's not actually true because I think the first one, everybody had to be live because there wasn't any streaming at that time. And then I think it went to, I don't remember anything. So all of those details are what's up in my world at the moment. There are many other classes going on as well. As far as the kind of things I have going on, tomorrow I have a group symphony taster session. And normally I don't do specifics on group symphony taster sessions, but this one is going to be with relationships. And normally I don't even like doing any sort of a symphony session on relationship because it's such a solid, immovable, it's like less malleable than rock infused with and wrapped with steel molten into the side of I don't know, something even more hard than all that, encased and encrusted in diamond. It's like, and all of those things are still more malleable than relationship. But we're doing a symphony taster on it tomorrow. So if that sounds like something you would like change with, come play. Now, what is really, truly interesting in the world? What would y'all like to talk about? You guys got to start messaging me what you want me to talk about because I am apparently running out of stuffs. Do we talk about that? I'm like, this is just how new my reality is. I don't even actually know how to talk to any of you anymore. I'm kind of like, well, I'm done. We'll hang up. We'll end the show because I don't got anything to talk about. So, let's do this. For all of you out there, okay, let's do this. So I also watched a super duper cool, I didn't really want to watch it. I watched a movie called Flash on my flight back on one of my recent airplane flights. And I was going to use that. And in Flash, he talks about changing the past. I was always someone that I didn't think you could change the past. Like the past is what it is. And in Access Consciousness, we talk about we talk about the fact that really all you got to do to change your past is change your point of view. Maybe some of you want me to say that again. All you have to do to change your past is change your point of view. So everything that is for all of you, times again, we're just trying to create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, all night, shorts, boys, popads, and beyonds. Now, time is linear by the very construct. Like a lot of people are like, time is not linear, but it's not because it's not real, is what it really comes down to. Time is a construct. It's not even real. When you even look at it, like people think that time is like a thing, which is very funny to me because even the clocks, I mean, nowadays everybody's synced to the internet with their cell phone and all the clocks are showing the exact same time all the time. And do you even know where they get the time from any of those clocks? I can feel all of you being like, no. What do you mean? Where do they get it? Well, it has to come from somewhere. And last I checked, this is a few years ago, it comes from an atomic clock, and not just one. They have multiple across the globe in order to calibrate the others, because the time, if you know who Einstein is, Einstein, what Tech Nine player. That's a really bad song from a very unknown rapper, and I'm not even kidding when I say it like that. Is Albert Einstein. He came up with what science calls the theory of relativity. And the theory of relativity is actually based on the fact that space warps, which warps time. Now, I lost a lot of you. I got it. Okay. I kind of lost myself. So everybody thinks that they're lost, and all the beyonds, creating the beyonds, eternally beyond, we're just trying to create them all. Yay. Right, around good, bad, public, online, shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. Now, if you've never heard that before, that is called the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. If you want more information, please go to theclearingstatement.com. So let me regain my spatial focus here. How many of you do focus? When you do focus, you try and squeeze yourself down to a tiny point. What if you did spatial focus? What if greater focus actually came from expanding out more? So let's just all expand out more and ask for greater expansive focus. Instead of it being like you're coming to a point, it's more like focusing, like you've got binoculars and you're like, I can't fucking see anything. It's all blurry. And then you're like, oh, now we've got it into focus. And then not only do you have that image in focus, you've got the background and the foreground and everything's in focus. Yay. But maybe the background isn't. Maybe the background's out of focus. Not sure. Let's focus again on time. Albert Einstein discovered what was called for him the theory of relativity. It's not actually theory anymore. It is a law, because our GPS systems on our phones wouldn't work without his calculations. What do I mean? Time is relative. based on where you are on the planet, how far away you are from the planet, how fast you're moving, all sorts of factors. But the biggest thing is how fast you're moving and where you are in a gravitational field. So, which basically just means how warped your space is. That's what all that really means. So everything that brought up for everybody, well, let's just clear it. Everything that doesn't allow you to have total clarity and ease with this conversation, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Yay! Right, wrong, good, bad, public, online, shorts, boys, povads, and beyonds. All right, so all of that conversation is really the fact to just show you time is relative because they have atomic clocks. What is an atomic clock? It's actually it's a very specific weighted ball of carbon. It's a specific kind of carbon, and it decays at a rate. And then they use that rate of decay and they compare it between other things that are created as these atomic clocks and their rate of decay, which is just like carbon dating, right? Have you ever heard of carbon dating? Because they know how the rate at which a carbon molecule decays. They measure this decay, and that's what gives them their reference for time. Why do they use these? Because they're accurate. And even though they are accurate, they still change over time. And there is literally nothing in the universe that does not change over time. So whatever it is that you use to measure a second, or whatever it is you're using to say, this is how long 1 second is, or this is how long 1 minute is, that thing will inevitably change over time. So it's not real, is what I'm saying. It's only real to the extent that you make it so. Now, it's linear in fashion because most people are making it linear. And as long as you make it linear, you are now in linear time of past, present, and future, which isn't really a reality. And if you're not making it linear, then you can be in the past, the present, and the future and aware of all of the above. So in this movie Flash, I really like how they described time in the linear fashion, because even though I was aware of all of this, the past and the present and the future are not separate, I still kept thinking that everything I had ever done, everything I had ever chosen, everything I had ever been and done in the past was still a reality. However, in this movie, I learned something very new and very cool. That is, when you change the past, you change the future. And the present acts like a fulcrum. What's that mean? Like, say, see, it's not even good with my fingers. Let's go like this, like, woo, you're going along. Here's time as a linear function. Now, my hands, these are the past, and the tips of my fingers are the future, and my knuckles are the present. When you change the past, boop, you also change the future, and the present is the fulcrum. So you can be like, Connor, if I changed the past and I changed the future, why did I wake up in the same bed? Because you're on the fulcrum. Everything around you pretty much looks the same, but it's all, everything else is different, and the future is now different. So will you all allow your past to change? I mean, what if that's all you had to do? What if you didn't actually have to go change anything specific? What if you didn't have to like try anything special? Or try and figure out what you should change and try and figure out what you need to keep in place. What if you just allowed it to change? Does that feel lighter in your body? Like, how much energy have all of you been using to maintain the past you've been choosing? We're going to really mess you up. I'm going to bring something in that's going to drop a ball on all y'all. How many of the big five and electromagnetics have you been using to maintain? And I do mean maintain, like you've been going back in the past and like, you know, lubricating it, feeding it, petting it, making it grow stronger and bigger so that you have less possibility in the future. Well, actually, no, you've been maintaining it, not from like letting it grow, petting it. What if instead of, because what you've been doing is, well, everything you've been doing, everything that is Sims gets in destroying great help. Right, wrong, good, bad, public, on shorts, boys, povets, and beyond. What if you let it, I don't know, it's fun. It's got this interesting energy of like, wow, if you pet it and you don't have a point of view about it and not even think that it actually has to stay the same. Like the maintaining of it is you're keeping it the same all the time. You're like, oh no, it moved. Make it go back to what it was. What if you allowed it to change? Right, wrong, good, bad, public, on shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. That's cool. I mean, what if that was just your new reality? Oh my God, the beginning of a new reality. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of this thing. That's neat. Wow. Wow. It was just like, I'm saying wow because, and this is the most interesting news in the world, folks, right? You heard it first here on the most interesting news in the world on Super 7 TV. Istanbul is that I've had a lot of realities where I thought everything was this way or a certain way, and it was always a limited version of what is actually possible. And this is something that's huge for me personally. Like I was really holding on to my past super strong so that basically not a whole lot of future was available. And as I'm allowing it all to change, wow, that's neat. So if you're sitting there wondering, well, Connor, how do I allow my past to change? Let's do this. This is something that Gary Douglas gave out at the beginning of the revolution in class that was here, like, I don't even freaking remember, forever ago and yesterday, all at the same time. Pock and pod everything you were yesterday. And that's actually what I've been doing every day since that class. Pock and pod everything I was yesterday. 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 So you can do it when you wake up. You can do it in the middle of the day. You can do it whenever you think about it. You can go get the Who Does This Belong To app. And every time you think, who does this belong to? You can also go pock and pot everything I was yesterday. Super easy, super fun. And then we can allow ourselves to be that change of the past where even though it seems like everything's the same here in the present, you're creating a vastly different future. How does it get any better than that? And what the F else is possible now? I hate to leave you all so soon. I know a lot of people are asking me to go for like 45 minutes. And I typically find myself at a loss of words right around 15 to 20 minutes. So until next time, I bid you all adieu on the most interesting news in the world. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye. See us all again next week at the exact same time because I'm not on an airplane. Bye.